welcome back to another installment of Jacob's awesome list of top 25 games.
Awesome.
I am Jacob.
Awesome is debatable. I'm Jeffrey.
And this is Maple Leaf Reviews. Awesome is not debatable in this list.
Well, it's your awesome list.
So we are doing a point system. If you want to find out about that and how we picked our top 10s, go check out our...
Even our top 25s.
Yeah, our top 25s as well. Check out our intro video. Shall we get started here?
Jump right in.
Okay, what number are we on? 15?
15 through 11.
My number 15 is the most expensive game in my collection. It's a collection of most expensive things. And that is Super Dungeon Explorer. So Super Dungeon Explorer, miniatures, skirmish game. You can play one versus all in the new Forgotten Kings. You can do a cooperative mode, or it's just everyone versus an AI.
Yeah.
I love this game. I love anime. I love chibis. I love dungeon crawls. It's just
firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's firing on all cylinders. The game is problematic with length. It tends to be very long. Even when I'm playing 2-player, 3-player, it's still long. And by the end of the game, I'm usually petering out, and I'm like, okay, let's finish this up. But early game, I always have a blast early game. Late game, I'm just like, okay, this is fun, but I've had enough. Yeah. It's still something I own almost everything of for this game, and I love it.
Yeah.
I paint the minis. I just have a blast playing
you've probably spent...
And my wife loves it, too.
You've probably spent more time with this game.
Yeah.
Because you built an insert for it. You're painting the minis.
Yeah.
All this stuff. This is the game you spent the most time with. So how many times have you played this?
I've played this game 32 times. Wow. And that's a lot of hours of play.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
We've even built a castle for this game.
Yeah. I've played this game 5 times?
Right.
Something like that,
and
maybe
logged
a little
more than 10 hours.
Yeah. And, I mean, dungeon crawls aren't really my deal. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of dice combat systems. But, I mean, it's an okay game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun time, and everything about the theme just screams, this is awesome. And so, yeah, that's why it's on the list. Yeah. I love it.
I did have this one, and I had it in the right bracket.
Oh, that's 2 points.
2 points for me.
All right, well, let's move on quickly to number 14. Number 14 is on a similar vein. It's a skirmish game, a minis game by Cool Mini or Not.
Yeah.
And that is Arcadia Quest. Arcadia Quest I like a little bit more than Super Dungeon just because it has the player versus environment plus a player versus player. It plays in a little bit of a shorter time. The problem I have with this game is, the only problem I have with it is the scenario base where it's harder to just pick up and play.
Yeah.
And if you do pick up and play, you're either starting off with starting equipment, which sucks and the game's kind of boring, or you need to randomly somehow divvy out higher level gear, which you normally have to pay for through a campaign system.
Or just play with the same group of people.
And
carry the campaign.
Exactly, which can be difficult, I've found. So that's my problem with that, and I don't foresee it ever getting higher than this point. Okay. It's not going to get closer to number 1. If anything, it's just going to fall due to the fact that I can't play it. Yeah. That being said, I've also backed... Arcadia Quest Inferno, which I'm excited about, and the Pets expansion for that.
So many minis.
Yeah, so many minis. I'm excited for that. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun. I don't have anything else bad to say about it. It's just, exploding dice, chaos, dungeon crawl, getting loot, fighting each other. Lots of chaotic moments that, you're standing up, rolling dice, cheering, and stuff like that.
This is one that I like more than Super Dungeon, but I thought that you liked Super Dungeon more than this one.
Okay.
So I had this one lower on your list, but I still have it on your list.
Right.
I mean, it does, like you said, it's a shorter time frame. I don't know, it moves quicker. The feeling of the game is a little bit better.
Yeah.
So it's a good game.
Yeah.
And I think I played this twice.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3. Cool. Well, yeah, that's my number 14. Another great miniatures kind of dungeon crawlish game. Number 13 is a...
Is it a game?
It is a game. It's something that I just added to the list recently because I didn't have enough plays for it. And we just played it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And that is Elysium.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
I really like this game, and the reason why I like it is because it's another game, and this is a mechanism or a component of a game that I really like, and that is the game ends before you want it to.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, I need to do this and this and this and this, and the game's over, and you're like, I'm not ready. Let's do it again. I need to do better. I need to be more efficient, and I love that in a game.
Yeah.
When it leaves me on the edge wanting more. I think a lot of games, like I was just talking with Super Dungeon Explorer, it overstays its welcome, and you're just like, okay, I'm ready for this to be done. This game is like, I need another round. Give me another round of this game.
Yeah.
And we were even looking on Board Game Geek. There was a variant that someone did for 2 players where they added an extra round in.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, they feel the same way as I do.
They just want to play it more.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool thing where, you know, when a game leaves you wanting more. And I mean, the game plays so quickly. Like, we were playing like 2-player games in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, less than 30.
So you can easily just, you know, reshuffle the deck and play again and get 2 games in an hour. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. There's 8 different sets of cards with the different gods, and you're only ever using 5, so the variability of the game is there. The way you choose guys, you got those 4 pillars, and you can only buy things that you can afford, and you're always discarding a pillar after every buy.
Yeah.
So you're limiting what you have access to and trying to plan out what your opponent's going to buy, what you're going to buy, what initiative order.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a puzzle. Yeah, it's a really intriguing game. I can't wait to get to the table again.
And it has that mechanic where, you know, you can accrue all these cards, but they aren't going to score you any points until you get rid of them. And when you put them in your Elysium, they don't have any active powers anymore.
Yeah, but they're actually worth points.
But then they're worth points. So deciding when and what to move out of your domain is tough decision.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So that's my number 13. That game I've actually only played 5 times. And I should also mention Arcadia Quest, which was my last one. I played 19. Moving on to number 12. This is a game I've only played 6 times. It's a game that's already shown up on your list.
I know this one.
And it is Russian Railroads.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, man. I thought it was another game.
Russian Railroads, as Jeffrey mentioned, great game. Lots of versatility when you add in German railroads. And I will say the same thing as Jeffrey. This probably wouldn't make my list if we hadn't have played the game with German railroads.
Right.
Because German railroads just explodes the game with versatility. The game is different every single time, whereas just the base game, Russian Railroads, it's the same game over and over, and you can basically learn the game, puzzle it out, and solve it.
And it's very sandbox.
Yep.
Like, it isn't like a game where the setup is different every time.
No,
like, there's a little bit of variation.
Make choices.
Yeah, there's a little bit of variation in the engineers that come out, but you decide. It's very, you know, what path am I going to try this time?
Yeah.
What strategy am I going to try and really, you know, drive home and do the best with?
Yeah. And there's so much there. It's an awesome game. I really like it. One of my favorites.
I don't think I have this one on the list for you.
Oh, interesting.
No.
And finally, my number 11 for this block is a game that you've already mentioned as well. 6 plays. And that is Grand Austria Hotel.
Okay. I had this one. That's the one I thought you were mentioning before.
Okay.
Russian Railroads took me by surprise, as did Elysium.
Okay.
But I knew this one would be on your list.
Yeah. Grand Austria Hotel. I mean, Jeffrey talked all about it. Well, unless you hadn't seen that other video yet. So you're running a hotel. You're rolling dice. The dice determine the actions, how many times you can take each action. And you only get 14 actions over the course of the game. It's... man,
combos.
It's another one of the games where it's just like, I need another round.
Yeah.
Like, there's not enough rounds in this game. The one complaint I will have is you don't want to play this game 4-player.
No.
3-player maybe, and 2-player yes. Yeah. I feel like 4-player, you're just adding 20 minutes of straight downtime where you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it does. It doesn't add anything else. So the game is great, but you can't play with that many players.
Yeah, I think, and 2-player is where we've played the most.
Yeah.
And yeah, two player is really awesome. 3-player is still good.
Yeah.
You don't really notice that extra downtime that much. But 4-player, there's a lot of downtime. And especially with how it works, if you're the first player and it like goes around the table, then comes back around to you.
Yeah.
If you're the first player, well, you're waiting for 6 other actions to be taken before you get to take your second one.
Because every round you take 2 actions. If you're the first player, you take the first and last. Then the next player takes the second and second last, and then the next person, and it crunches down. So the last player to play in a round, like to take their first action, also takes their second action immediately again. So you'd have 2 in a row. But being the first player, you're just sitting there for 8 actions waiting for it to come back to you. Yeah. And it's just downtime.
Yeah.
But it's a great game. Just play it with a low player count, and you will have a blast. Lots of cool stuff, innovative things going on in that game. Really like it.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. I had this one on the list, and I had it in the right bracket.
Oh, awesome.
I had it as your number 15.
All right. So how many points is that for you?
That's 5 points for me in this bracket.
All right. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to the next bracket, and thank you guys for watching.
We'll see you soon.